G'day guys, Matty Sims here and welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Sims. And in today's episode, we're previewing Raw live from Madison Square Garden in what is going to be a big two shows for WWE from Madison Square Garden. Starting off with Raw tomorrow lunchtime for me and SmackDown Wednesday lunchtime for me. Raw is on Tuesday lunchtime for me. As you know, Australia is a day ahead of the United States, or about half a day ahead of the United States. And in today's preview of Raw, we're just going to go through a few of the things that have been announced already, including the four horsewoman tag team match, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair teaming up to take on Bayley and Sasha Banks, as well as the King of the Ring semi-final triple threat match between Ricochet, Samoa Joe, and Baron Corbin, and also the contract signing between Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins for the Universal title, with Stone Cold moderating the contract signing. But we'll start off with just a few matches that have been announced already as well, with Rey Mysterio in his return match, I guess, from his almost retirement, taking on Lucha House Party's Grand Metalik. It should be an exciting match. We've seen what Andrade and Rey Mysterio can do. Andrade, he is a high flyer, but he's more of that technical sort of luchador who, he does have his high flying moves, but also he's a bit of a ground and pounder as well. But Grand Metalik, he is the king of the ropes. I'm pretty sure Grand Metalik stands for King of the Ropes. So taking on Rey Mysterio, it's going to be an exciting match. If they're allowed to just go out there and just throw it all on the plate, leave it all in the ring, we should see some high-flying, spectacular moves. And as well as AJ Styles takes on Cedric Alexander. So last week, as we know, for some reason, the OC attacked Cedric Alexander. It was never explained why they attacked him. Hopefully we can find out some more news on that tomorrow on Raw. If not, should be a good match. AJ Styles, Cedric Alexander. Surprised I haven't left it until Clash of Champions, but maybe they want to give Cedric a win over AJ to justify him having a match instead of just they attacked him, so he's going to have a match. But yeah, we'll go into the tag bout between the four horsewomen now, and surprised that they've done it this soon, but also not surprised. We know WWE, it's rare when they just let something build up naturally, or you know what I mean. We've seen it before, and it's happening again here. Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch teaming up with her fierce rival in Charlotte Flair, taking on the Hug and Boss connection, I guess, in Bayley and Sasha Banks. But I doubt she's a hugger now. I mean, on SmackDown we've seen she was still trying to portray that sort of she's doing it for the fans. So hopefully, maybe at Clash of Champions we can get a new Bayley, like different ring music, different gear, just different entrance as well. We've seen Sami Zayn, he turned heel, he kept the same entrance, same theme music, he kept it all, same attire, and he just looks like an arrogant little bastard now. So maybe we could have Bayley in a similar way, like her music could just be, her theme music could stay the same, but she plays to it differently. You know what I mean? So maybe we'll see that. I would like, if they're going to have her heel, maybe a different, theme music. Because if she ever does return, as a baby face, you can play that, do whatever, however it goes, ain't nothing stopping us now, sort of theme music. And yeah, but I mean, excited for the match. It's probably just going to be a stock standard tag team match. I would be surprised if Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, a tag team. I'll be surprised if they, don't turn on each other, especially Charlotte. I expect Charlotte to leave Becky Lynch high and dry. But yeah, it should be a stock standard tag team match heading into Clash of Champions. Where Charlotte Flair is taking on Bayley for the SmackDown Women's tag titles, SmackDown Women's Championship. And Becky Lynch is taking on Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. Should be a couple of good matches at Clash of Champions. Next up, we'll talk about the Triple Threat King of the Ring tournament semi-final match, and yeah, it should be exciting. I mean, they should get some high spots in. Ricochet might be allowed to get more freedom now that there's two other competitors. They'll focus on each other, take the bigger man out. Who knows? Joe and Corbin, I'm not sure if they've ever had a history together in the past. Joe never really got caught up in that when Corbin was GM. He was on SmackDown at the time as well. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping Ricochet wins. As we know, we saw Chad Gable win on SmackDown. So he's in the other semi-final for SmackDown. And he will be taking on Elias, who beat Ali. So I don't know what I want to see more. Chad Gable versus Ricochet at Clash of Champions. Because it looks like they're building up Chad Gable as an underdog. So maybe he'll win. But Elias does have the backing of Shane McMahon. Potentially, could Elias face Ricochet in the final? Maybe, are they still going to go with King Corbin? King Corbin defeats Chad Gable in the final. We'll see anyway. I'll personally want Ricochet to win. I don't think you have to give him the King gimmick. You can be King of the Ring, and you don't have to be King Ricochet or King Corbin or King Joe. Corbin will probably take on the King moniker, but Samoa Joe and Ricochet I don't think will. Neither would Chad Gable. Maybe Elias, King Elias, he'll take on that mantra. But yeah, I'm excited for the match. Raw's WWE's resident hero, Samoan submission machine, and Baron Corbin in a triple threat match. Should be exciting. But now let's get into what's probably the most anticipated thing that's already been announced for Raw from Madison Square Garden. I'm expecting more surprises. It is a big show. That's one thing that they've said already. This is going to be a big, big show, and I'm expecting stuff to happen. I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm hoping I'm not being too optimistic, but we could see some special things happen here, and hopefully with this contract signing, it's just one of the many things that happens, and I'll give you my thoughts on it now and also what I think could potentially happen. So we'll start off with what I think, with my thoughts on it, I should say, sorry. And yeah, I'm excited. Stone Cold Steve Austin, this is the perfect way to bring him back. I mean, he's not going to have a match or anything, but he's going to be there doing something, and that's what you want to see. You don't just want to see him show up and cut a silly promo or do nothing. It's good to see that that Stone Cold, it's almost like he's just doing it himself, which is good. Using Twitter to say, I'm coming back, I'm going to moderate this contract signing, and I think WWE has to do more of that, of using what is said on social media and incorporating it into the product, because there's been amazing promos on Twitter that Becky Lynch has put out. Maybe don't use Bray Wyatt's tweets, because he's sort of tweeting half in character and half not in character, which is good to see. He still knows that he has to be the Fiend, he has to be Bray Wyatt, but there is the split personality. The Fiend is a completely different person to Bray Wyatt, so it's not the Fiend tweeting out, it's Bray Wyatt, the Mr. Rogers character tweeting out. But I think using Stone Cold in this position is perfect. I don't think there's anyone else that could do it. And you've got a bit of history already. Stone Cold has been praising Seth Rollins for a number of weeks now. And as we saw in last week, Braun Strowman, he wasn't happy with that. He was saying, you got your boy, yeah? You got no one left, but Stone Cold's been, talking you up. Is he going to do anything? And I don't think he's going to attack Braun Strowman, Stone Cold, or Seth Rollins. But someone who might get attacked is Stone Cold himself. Now, I expect it to be a normal contract signing, maybe even a bit of a tussle between Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. But as those two get escorted to the back, what I hope to happen is the lights go out and the Fiend shows up, attacking Stone Cold. Because, as we know, the Fiend has a championship match at Hell in a Cell. And what a better statement to make. What a better, there's no better way to make a statement like this than attacking arguably the greatest of all time in WWE, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Taking him out, and maybe have Seth Rollins. Braun Strowman's been escorted to the back, and Seth Rollins is still on the ramp, and he looks upon Bray Wyatt in the ring. Maybe runs down to save him. Lights go out. Bray Wyatt's gone. The Fiend is gone. I think there's so much potential with Raw from MSG. You know that they're building it up as this big event, and there's so much they can do. Imagine what happens if Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, attacks Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not only attacks him, but takes him out. You're going to have people predicting dream matches. Maybe Stone Cold versus the Fiend down the line. You know, Stone Cold, he's never said that he would never return. It's just that he doesn't need to return. He knows he doesn't need to return. But enough money, you know, we've seen Shawn Michaels return. What if... Well, we've even seen Goldberg return as recently as SummerSlam, you know, and also the Saudi Arabia shows. So what if Stone Cold, you know, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, one more match, takes on the Fiend Bray Wyatt? I mean, probably won't happen, and that's probably, again, getting ahead of ourselves. But that's what you do as a wrestling fan. You get ahead of yourself. You get ahead of the game. You try to think of what can happen, who you can see, and hopefully, you know, there's a lot of potential with Bray Wyatt and the Fiend, and hopefully WWE capitalise on it. And I think a way of capitalising on that is have him attack Stone Cold. Have him interrupt the contract signing. Let the Fiend Bray Wyatt have his presence known, because he is one of the best characters in the company right now. And, you know, we've already seen Bray Wyatt tease that he might attack him. I'll put the tweet up now, just for you to read it yourselves, but I'll read it to you. A rattlesnake's skin's the same colour as the leaves, she said. You got to get them before they get you. Quote, Sister Abigail. So, is Bray Wyatt already planning the attack? Is he already premeditated? Does he already know what he's going to do? Does he already know that he is going to attack the rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin? I don't know if he will, but I'm excited to find out. Hopefully he does. If he doesn't, let's see what else they give us. Because usually when WWE do these shows, you know, they try their absolute best. Like WrestleMania, I was there, and arguably, you know, it hasn't had much to live up to, WrestleMania, the last few years. But this year's WrestleMania was probably the best WrestleMania for a number of years. You know, I was there. A lot of people I spoke to said the same thing, you know, from other countries, from around the world. This was probably the best WrestleMania. You know, WrestleMania from New Orleans. Was that last year? WrestleMania 34? New Orleans? I believe it was, yeah. Where am I going? Yeah. You know, it was a long show. It went too long. And that was a problem with it. So now I'm getting into talking about WrestleMania. What's going on? But the point is, when they do these type of shows from, you know, New York, from Chicago, from Philly, they're usually much bigger shows. They know that the wrestling fans are there. They know that it's going to be predominantly, you know, those hardcore wrestling fans. So they try a bit harder to at least put on a decent show. And I'm excited for what they can do. And hopefully a lot of it revolves around the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. But if other legends do show up, I'm not sure, you know, who else is there that they've announced that's going to show up yet. I'm not sure. But we do know Undertaker is going to be at SmackDown. Is it a matter of waiting until SmackDown? Maybe Bray Wyatt attacks The Undertaker. Now, that might be getting a bit ahead of myself. But again, what if he attacked Stone Cold and The Undertaker 2 nights in a row? How big that would make Bray Wyatt. And then at Survivor Series, the exact date of The Undertaker's debut, I believe it will be, he retires The Undertaker for good. And I love The Undertaker. Favourite wrestler, favourite performer, favourite sports entertainer of all time. And it'd be very sad to see him retire, but there is that potential for Bray Wyatt to retire him. And you never know what could happen. Anyway, guys, I know the Raw preview went a little bit sideways, but I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on what I think about Bray Wyatt and the Fiend's character. It's going to be an exciting show, I feel. And you will have my thoughts on it later in the day after Raw has aired. once I get the video uploaded tomorrow, yeah, just make sure you give it a like and all that good stuff. Because I need the likes, need subscribers. It is a new channel. I started out as a Football Manager channel, but I'm venturing a bit more into pro wrestling. If you do like Football Manager as well, or sporting games, let me know in the comments below, and I'll play them. I'll do them. I want to venture out. I want to make content that I want to make, and at the moment, I feel like I want to make wrestling content. That is what I feel I want to do. That's what I feel is best for me personally. A lot easier for me to make, a small commentary like this on a preview of Raw and a post review of Raw than, sitting there recording gameplay. But if you want to see gameplay, let me know in the comments below and I'll do it. That's how, YouTube works. I want to know what you guys feel and I want to know what my audience wants to see. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this preview of Raw, drop a like. Let me know in the comments below what you think is going to happen on Monday Night Raw. And, yeah, subscribe if you're new. I'll speak to you guys very shortly with our Raw review tomorrow. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will speak to you guys very soon.